Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Talk with Obee. Feden Shazina Jagako, Obee, some career, one of the young, beautiful ladies, Bakona Legacy, was into leadership of Fichu and is doing a lot of podcasts about Fichu Kona Legacy. She's the founder of the Palesa Foundation and she also has immortal issues about Fichu, Pula stage of Robaro. So I'm telling you about Fichu to discuss it to City, just before our eyes, before our screens, about Fichu City. Understand to Mutujano Kumiliva and what's his story, what's his journey, Ufira Jano, City, bam! And welcome to season 2 and welcome to this episode.
Hi.
It's a great. Yes, finally fitting the show. No matter like for it has been long since the Runyago. And tell us what our viewers can expect to hear from this show.
Greetings everyone, my name is Palesa Mailula. I get from Winnie Mandela Zone 2. I'm 19 years of age. Today I am at Talk with Obee show. What you should be expecting today from me is that you'll be learning a lot about leadership, modeling as a whole, and a lot of things about my background, where I grew up, what made me to be who I am today, and how I made it.
Yeah, wow, interesting. So Buffett Juniors, if I'll be just at the back of the things and then I'll just be, being physical guy and we're just gonna give you the platform, the stage, to everyone and go throughout the journey Buffett. Before I fail, so just go to subscribe with that, go to comment, go to invite your friends, watch you tell us our Nababangas, which are about you reaching up as our return. Nababangas, they will Ganjal, or invite Nabanya, so that's how we do it on the show. And yeah, dang.
Thank you so much for welcoming me.
Yes, so got a promising voice, cool friend. Yes, perfect. Let's smile. Okay, so a lot of people know you as a leader, as someone who's into modeling, someone who's into charity work. But I want you to take this opportunity to introduce yourself.
Thank you for the question. I'll start by saying it is a great honor actually to be welcome on Obee's Tech Show. First of all, what I can say is that as people know me as a leader, as a model and all that, but one thing that I can say about myself is that I am a sophisticated black child who is confident, positive and always ready to make a change in somebody else's life, and I live by the saying that says Moto ke motho ka batho. Hence that's why each and everything that I do, I regard people as an honor and people as a value, because in order for me to get where I want to be, it is because of the people that are in my circle, the people that are outside my circle, and also the people whom I work with. Thank
you. Interesting. Why do you call yourself a sophisticated black child?
Okay. The word sophisticated means somebody who is actually intelligent, like outer intelligent, like you are multi-intelligent. Hence that's why I call myself a sophisticated person, because in today's world, not everybody actually is able to do the things that I do. Not everybody is able to think the way that I do. Not everybody is willing to work the work that I do. Hence that's why I call myself a sophisticated black child.
Okay, no, interesting. So how would you say Palesa grew up, and where did you grow up as well?
I was born in Tembisa. I grew up in Tembisa. I studied in Tembisa, and Tembisa I can say it is my home.
Wow, interesting. So how was it for you growing up, in Tembisa?
I faced a lot of challenges such as bullying. Firstly, I was once bullied.
You were bullied?
I can't say it's something that I'm actually proud of, but by the end of the day, I learned something from that. It actually built me to be the person that I am today, because through the challenges that I faced through bullying and all that, I managed to actually know the kind of a person that I am. and I turned out to stand out for those who are actually voiceless. Because by that time I was still a kid, being pressured by your friend and all that, being bullied day and night. It was something very, like, I can't say it's something good, but it was painful, because at some point I was once bullied by somebody who is my neighbor, somebody who's my mom, and her mom and his mom was actually best friends since from childhood. So it was very challenging for me.
So when you said bullied, how exactly were you bullied? Because you find like umntana squad but maybe it's or maybe a movie, or maybe someone young kwachisa or young shire. So your kind of bullying,
okay,
how were you bullied?
My kind of bullying is that the guy actually, he used to take money from me each and every morning. Yeah, he was taking my lunchbox money and all that, and then there was this day he once left me on our way to school. Then I came back and told my mom, and my mom was like, okay, let's go to school. When I reached school, he was already there. We were in the same class on top of them. So when they reported about him to the principal and also his parents like stood for him. And it actually at some point it affected the relationship between my family and his family, because they were family friends. So he used to bully me in that way. And another way that I was bullied was because I was a teacher's pet. So you know how it is like to be a teacher's pet all the time, like students always speak ill of you and all that. So yeah.
So then okay, besides being bullied, how was it for you, like, growing up in Tembisa?
I can say it was an inspiration, because Tembisa today, it has improved, starting from infrastructure, like all those things. So before, we were actually in rural areas, so you used to live by taking lessons from people, listening to people, watching how they live and all that. Like each and every day was actually a lesson for me. Like I think the people in my community actually are the motivation of the person who I am. They kept me to be motivated daily, because I have seen many of them struggling with getting things to be done for their lives and all that.
So as they say, you used to go to school, and then there was this kid was also quite just you on the side. Which primary school did you go to?
I went to Tamatama Primary School.
Oh, I understand now. So so how was it for you, being one of the students at Lama, and it's one of the schools that has its own reputation?
Okay, one thing that I can say is that I'm grateful that I actually got enrolled in Tamatama Primary School, because in Tamatama Primary School, it's not just a school, it is also a home, whereby like each and every teacher is your parent. Whenever you need something, when you go to them, like they're gonna help you. And Tamatama, what I loved about it is that they were not encouraging us on academics only. There were also extracurricular activities like debate, public speaking, leaderships and all that. So that's when actually I learned a lot of things there.
Okay. So and then there's a funny thing. I met you a couple of years ago, and from that day I don't know, we became friends. Are we friends?
No, you're not my friend, you're my
colleague. Yeah,
you're not my colleague, you're my what?
Colleague. Let's call it colleague. So I want to know something from you. Like as I said on the introduction, I said that I consider you as one of the leaders of the community. What would be your take on leadership as a role?
Can you please repeat the question?
What would be your take on leadership? Like when you think of leadership as a role, like what's your take on leadership?
Okay, my take on leadership is to gain respect and respect. Secondly is to actually be in people's shoes, understanding of people. You can't be a leader and not understand people. And another thing, relationship building. So whenever you are in the leadership industry, just know that you're gonna deal with people, you're gonna deal with relationships, you're gonna deal with different kinds of people who don't know how to communicate, how to actually emphasize the issue of how to lead and all that. So another thing is all about accountability, transparency and also responsibility.
Well, you say Guti, okay, so I want you to take us through the processes of finding your own foundation. how did that come about?
I studied. I've been into many foundations ever since I was in primary. I started by being in this foundation called Baswalimeti in Tamatama Primary School, and then I was also part of Star Growth Group, which was initiated by Aunt Murunga, who is one of the social workers in my community. So in that foundation, we actually were doing a lot of things, such as academics, helping us with schoolwork, like cultural things and all that. So I was elected as a chairperson in that foundation. So that's when I developed the love for actually caring for people and working with people in all that. So that's when I started to come up with, no man, let me just come with my own foundation and like let me see how it can actually reach out, because I've been part of organization which didn't actually go out there and help people. It was like something like that was inside for the people that are inside only.
So then how would
Okay, when let me start by accountability. In my organization, I am the founder and I'm also the chairperson. But at the moment, it seems like as if I'm just nothing, because actually my team, I have groomed them so well so that they can be able to carry out the name whenever I'm not there. So now we were actually looking for members, for new members who can apply and be part of the organization, because we are less, and whenever it comes to some community project, we actually struggle with shortage of heads. So during the interview, I wasn't part of the interview, they were part of the interview, and they were doing it on their own without me.
Nice.
And also when it comes to respect, I gain their respect and they respect me. Not just because they know me, or maybe because they respect me because I'm their leader, but because they respect me because it is one of the values that we actually initiated in our organization. That's one thing that I can say.
Wow, interesting. So there was a point whereby there was just so much account for your organization. Can you just take it back there to what really happened, Mood?
Accounts?
Yeah, there was a time where you said some of your accounts are being hacked and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I was once hacked. My Facebook account was hacked, and by that time I was traumatized because my life is in there. My modeling agency page is in my own account, and there's no one who is actually an admin. I was the only admin. Even on the Palesa Foundation, no one was the admin of the Facebook page. I was the only admin. So I was so traumatized by the point that already we got closely to 1K followers, and now I'm hacked. This means it's the end, so we have to start again and actually do another pages and look for followers again.
So what was the resolution there to at least counter that kind
I restarted my phone and then uninstalled the app and installed it and then logged in again, and then I said forgotten password, and then they said the code through my email address, and then from there I restarted the password.
Still speaking about leadership, what kind of a leader do you want to be one day?
Kind of a leader that I want to be. I think I'm not actually okay, what's the like? Okay, let me put it in this way. I want to be a leader that will actually not be treated as a leader but treated as a mother. Because I believe that being a mother, at some point everybody in the house is able to speak to you whenever they got problems. Being a mother, you are able to care about people. Being a mother, you got that extended love for other people, and you respect their decision, and you are always there to guide them and also to show them the right way. So I want to be a leader that actually has the love and the passion of being a mother, not just a leader.
Actually, just wanna be, let me put it this way, you wanna have the qualities of a mother in your leadership. Be the mother of your organization and your people.
Not
Nice.
just the leader. No.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
You're good. No, honestly, you're good. Who told you to do?
the most influential person in my life, my grandmother.
Tell me a little more about your grandma. What's your relationship with her is like?
What is?
How's your relationship with her?
Okay, I grew up in this yard. This yard belongs to her and my grandfather. I was raised by both of them. One thing that I can say is that I am the closest grandchild ever with her, and like I actually value her more than my mom. My apologies to say this, but she also knows that because I lived with my grandmother. Like I have found a mother in her, a friend in her, like a lot of things in her, and inspiration for me to do everything. It was only through her support, telling me do this, you get there. So
yeah. So would you say literally she became your mom? Where's your mom?
My mom lives at Dayton with my dad and also my siblings.
Oh wow, nice. So what would you say okay, what's this one thing that you would say maybe you would wanna achieve it for her, or maybe wanna like do for her?
For my grandmother?
Yeah.
She actually has a lot of dreams and goals at the moment. So what I'm trying to do now is actually to register her own daycare for her.
Wow, perfect. Tell me about last time she was graduating, I think.
Yes.
What was that? Just take me through that process. How was it like for you? How old is your grandma?
My grandmother is 68 years.
So 60 years old, she was still pursuing education. Just take me through that process. What inspired that process?
Okay, she actually worked as a kitchen maid for almost, I think, from after high school. My parents, actually my mothers and my aunts actually grew through that salary of her working at the kitchen and all that. So she actually worked there, I think, for many years. So immediately after she retired from that crèche, she said she wants to open her own daycare. For in which she will take care of the kids of the community and all that, and it will become a source of income for her because she's no longer working and my grandfather has deceased. So she always wanted to, she actually said, I want to go to school, and like we never believed in her. We used to say, oh no, you can't go to school and all that. We used to discourage her, but then she actually asked for my help, and then we registered her, and then she went to school. Each and every day she was studying. Like it was an inspiration at some point to me, because I was like, okay, somebody is older than me and she's still interested in school. This is nice. So that time she told me that I'm going to graduate, and I was like, okay, this is now the time to pour up the champagnes. So for you to have someone who's over her 50s and still studying and still pursuing education, definitely issue like mentally. There's someone who once said to me, when you enter the lift and you press number 3, it will actually take you to floor number 3. But that doesn't mean you have to stop there. That doesn't mean it is the end of the road. You can still go up and do whatever that you want to do. So to me, it actually shows that when you want something, you can achieve it. No matter the background, no matter the income, no matter where you come from, no matter your age, you can still achieve it. So to me, it is actually an inspiration, because not everybody who is about 50, 60 is actually still interested into school.
Nice. So you mentioned that there's some other projects that you're doing, like including your modeling agency. First, you are a model yourself.
Yes.
Just take us through that journey of modeling. How did modeling come about?
Okay, my modeling journey started in 2019 when I actually saw a poster on Facebook regarding Miss Beauty with Harmony by Mujela.
So that's your first.
Yeah, who is actually my mentor. Then I went through and asked for their contact details, and then we communicated through WhatsApp, and then from there they told me that they had rehearsals at what is the name of this park? Kuvikilin Park. So there was this day I went there with my block heels okay, I actually wanted to do modeling because my mom was a model. So I once saw one of the pictures and then asked my grandmother who is this, and she told me that it's your mom. And I said I also want to do modeling, but it wasn't actually really there. But seeing the people on the pictures on television, so that's when I gained the love for it. Then I went there for rehearsals, but I was shaking and all that. Then they gave me an option of becoming a fashion model, actually to advertise their brand, which was Panda by that time. And then I actually agreed and went with it. So during that process of doing the fashion for promoting the brand, Tumuzela actually offered to be my modeling mentor, and then I agreed. Then my first pageant became Miss Face of Winnie Mandela, in which she was actually the previous queen for it. And then I entered that. When I first entered the competition, actually I didn't go there with the heart that I'm gonna win. I just told myself, let me just go and see what will happen, and then if I lose, I'll learn. Yeah. And then it turned out to be a good pageant, and then I took second princess.
You got second princess?
Second princess.
Wow.
In the team category.
So, wow. And that's the first title that introduced you to the world of pageant. And you did so well with that one. Okay, so then from this one, what was the second pageant?
My second pageant.
And how many more pageants did you enroll after that?
Till now.
Yeah.
Five pageants.
And how many titles do you have?
Oh, let me think. I got nine titles at the moment. 9. Wow. I started in 2019. I started in 2019. The whole of 2020 I didn't enter any pageant.
So
it's 1 for 2019 and then 8 for this year.
Wow. 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 Pump the bottles of champagne. So out of all the pageants that you've entered, which one would you say this one is a highlight for you?
Miss Tsolopele, the legacy is a highlight for me. Because when I entered the competition with one of the people who actually mentored me. So I had that thing that, okay, it's 1 crown and 3 titles. Oh, it was 2 crowns and 3 titles. So the crown was actually 1. We don't count the others. It was only queen. So I was nervous, thinking, okay, I'm going to compete with my mentor. Woo, this one's gonna be a tough one.
What did you?
Thank you. But I went there and then became the queen and came with 2 titles back home.
So how was the feeling for you to know what you've entered a competition against some of the people that you consider your mentors and actually come up and win? How was the feeling for you?
I actually, when I came back home, my grandmother was sitting with my other aunt, and then I just pop up this verse from the Bible, Isaiah 60 verse 22, when he said, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make everything right." So I just believe that it was my time to shine. No matter the circumstances, it was my time to shine, and nobody can actually remove me from the table that God has prepared for me.
And since you're quoting from the Bible, are you a very spiritual or religious person?
I can say I am, because I am the leader in my church for the youth. Yeah.
Also a youth leader. Take me through the please share a little more about that position.
It's challenging.
It's challenging.
That's one thing that I can say. It's challenging having to deal with actually a lot of teens who are actually consumed by the flesh and the flesh life, not the spiritual life. So it's kind of difficult to convince them to actually attend church every day, to actually listen the sermons and all that. So it's kind of difficult. So that one thing that I can say is difficult, but by the end of the day, everything will come.
Everything will come. So there's an article which was done Koena, and towards the end of that article you said you want to start your modeling agency soon after you finish your matric, and soon after you've done your matric, bam, there's the modeling agency. Take us through that process. What's your belief in the power of words on top of that?
It's not the power of words. In life orientation, I don't remember which grade it is. There's this topic called SMART. I don't remember what this actually stands for, but it's about goals and all that. So this was one of my long-term goal, for in which I planned it. Even though I wasn't sure, I had doubts there and there, but by the end of the day, I made it.
You made it. Take us, just elaborate more, Wuti, what does your agency does?
Okay, my agency actually it is to train and tutors competencies in order for them to grow in the industry of pageantry modeling. We deal with only pageantry modeling because that's one thing that I am actually experienced with. So one thing that I can say is that we actually help the upcoming models.
How would you say your experience in modeling? How would you say your experience in modeling come to play a part in your agency?
Okay. Yes. I have learned a lot of things. Firstly, starting with tips, question and answer strategies. That is one thing that I have never gone wrong with. Whenever I go to stage, I make sure I ace that one. When it comes to introduction tips, I ace that one. So the challenge that I actually have is the walking and the posing, because each and every model is actually trying to walk in my agency. They try to actually copy my walk and also copy my poses.
My poses, yeah.
So, but at some point, it's a good thing because they say learn from your leader. Start by being a follower, allow yourself to learn and to be told, then become a leader. So I believe that if they do the same thing, this means actually they're actually following their leader.
Yeah, but don't you think at some time they're just like copying you and they're just becoming you?
By the end of the day, it's about who do you choose to be your role model.
Funny enough, you said your role model, it's a grandma. I was about to ask you who's the role model, but then it clicked. So then, for a 10-year-old or 7-year-old who still maybe trying to figure out what they want to do in life, but you find them staring at the TV screens, or they love magazines, or they love fashion in general, or modeling, what would be your piece of advice to them?
If I can tell you that in my modeling agency, the youngest age that we have is actually 4 years.
4 years?
4 years.
Wow.
And the advice that I can actually give to somebody who is 7 years, I can't actually give them an advice. Actually, the advice goes to the parent, because we live in a society whereby parents actually always say you can't follow this dream, because I can't afford to actually pay for the fees for you to be successful in all that. They actually discriminate us to follow white people's dreams, and by the end of the day, it's not white people's dreams. It's all about how you use the resources, how you actually network with people, how you actually go out there and show the world and sell yourself to the rightful people. So my advice I can say to the parents is, don't discourage a child. Just allow your child to actually go for whatever that they want. They will learn through the process, and then that's when you can actually see the seriousness of your child and the abilities of your child.
What would you say to parents who still have the stigma of saying this career is not for black people, or this career is not for women, this career is not for men? Because even men, when it comes to modeling, they're still called names to say which they're not men enough, whatever, modeling, whatever, blah blah blah. But often for years we've seen men modeling through different platforms. I mean, they've been they've been the faces of brands for years. What would be your take on the stigma or the discrimination involved around, those kind of things?
What I like about pageantry modeling, actually not pageantry modeling, modeling industry as a whole, is that in today's world, it doesn't discriminate. Whether you're a plus size, you're slim, you're an albino, you're an Asian, you're an Indian, you are allowed to enter the industry. So one thing that we as a community, we should actually change is how we view things. Because how we view things is not how things are actually are. There is a vision and there is a mission. That's one thing that they should know. And by the end of the day, they don't know the abilities and the capabilities that you actually have. They will just judge you by just seeing you. They don't know what will happen to your future tomorrow.
How important is it for parents to invest in their kids? Like you mentioned, or in your agency there is a 4-year-old girl. How important for parents to invest in that talent from a young age?
It is very important because by the end of the day, you find that you are forcing your child to actually follow academics and find that your child is not academically gifted. And another thing, if we can compare to how we live in South Africa and how they live in actually countries like USA, a child is actually encouraged to do music at the age of 4 years and become successful. So in today's world, it doesn't go with how many degrees you have. It's about how many abilities you have, how many capabilities you have, and how many platforms and resources you have. So I believe that it is very important for parents to actually invest in their kids' dreams, because actually it encourages and gives the confidence of a child to actually follow that dream.
What career paths your parents are hoping that you will take?
Okay, from my home, because they knew that I am a person of leadership, politics, debate and public speaking. So they were always saying, okay, lawyer, here is our lawyer and all that. And unfortunately, law is my second option. Not my first option.
What's your first option?
My first option is CA, Chartered Accountant. Yes.
So, how do you come and meet up Ufarel?
Okay, Farela, I knew him from grade 11 when I was the president of Sitikeni Secondary School, and he was the president of Ekanyusweni Secondary School. So we met through social media platforms whereby he was actually offering me his politics meetings and all that. So that's when I actually met him, and then we then went to further discussion and ended up writing our own poems together and all that.
So what would you say is your current relationship with him?
He's more than a colleague.
How so?
He's actually my bro. Yeah, my friend. Best friend. Yeah.
So then how do you get to work with YLO?
Okay, I was actually unexpectedly elected as the chairperson of YLO this year.
Okay.
I started by being just a member, attending their meetings and all that, having ups and downs as an organization and all that. And as time went by, it ended up to a position where I actually applied for being the deputy secretary and all that. And then I don't know what happened with the board members, and then they pop up and elected me to be the chairperson.
What's your take on politics of this country? We just did our votes not so long ago.
One thing that I can say is that leadership is not about the election, it's about the next generation. If the youth of today doesn't vote, it will actually affect them. So even now, because they didn't vote, they don't actually see that this thing is going to take a U-turn and actually affect their future. Because by the end of the day, the issues that are actually happening are actually affecting them the most. One of the pandemics that we're actually facing in a country, which is actually not taken into consideration, which is youth unemployment. The youth actually at some point doesn't actually take a stand against that, because if they were voting, as they say, voting is your voice. So they don't actually want to make their voice to be heard. So if they don't vote, then I guess the late election will always continue with their late election, voting for Malema because Malema was the friend of Zuma because of they won't actually succeed.
So what will be your take on the failure to eradicate some of the issues just like GBV around the country? I mean, tembisa, it's number 3 in terms of how it's on the top 10 in terms of the nation, like nationwide.
Firstly, the government is not actually looking for the root cause of GBV.
How so?
Actually, the community as a whole is not going through the process of what is the root cause of GBV. According to me, I don't think you as a man, you can just start by actually violating me and all that. You have your reasons. Why are you violating me? So according to me, I don't think issues like GBV as something that we can actually eradicate so easily, but we can try to minimize it.
Okay, so in your views and just opinions, what actually can we do to try and minimize the effects of gender based?
Guilt trip.
Elaborate further.
Okay, I think firstly we actually have to start with why are they abusing women? Why are they abusing men?
So you also agree with him, women also does abuse men?
Yes, and it's something that actually the community is not voicing out. Boys also matters, males also matters. We live in a society whereby now I think it's gonna take us back to women are actually the ones who should lead. Women are actually the one who should be sympathized. Women should be the one who are actually taken forward and all that. Because by the way how they do things in today's generation is not actually gonna work for us in the next coming years.
So today you're one of the, let me say, young influential leaders of this community. You also mentioned that you were at ZTK and you were the leader. You were leader there. You were hey, let this is good, man. It's good. So this is your grade 11. Just take us through that process.
Okay.
Who was Palesa then?
When I started when I was enrolled in Zitikene Secondary School, it was in 2018 when I went there to do grade 10. The reason why I shifted from what we on to Zitikene because I wanted to do CAT, which is computer appliance technology. Then when I reached the side, I found out that computer is only for science learners.
Oh.
So I had to go to a science class because I wanted to do computer, but the sad part is that after 2 weeks I shifted because science wasn't in me. So I shifted and went to commercial class and left the CAT. So in grade 10 there was this guy called Rapadu Kamukhalo Rapadu. He lives here in Mandela. So he's one of the people who I was actually working with when it comes to organizations and all that. There was this organization we were both in, which was Future Leaders. So when I reached grade 10 and went to Zitikene Secondary School, I wanted to be the president in my grade 10.
Okay.
So the sad part is that I wasn't more knowledgeable about RCL and all that. So where they said they were through the elections and then they said those who want to be the president. Guy 1, guy 2, 1 plus 1, I am not going. And then they said deputy, then I went there, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. I took second position. So the guy who took more votes was the deputy president. So for grade 10, I went for the position head of debate.
Okay, wait. In grade 10, what happened?
I became the head of debate for RCL. And then in grade 11, that's when I decided, no man, I'm going for this one. I'm going for the presidential because if I'm gonna reach matric, they won't allow me to be the president.
Okay. So how was your turn at the school? You know, for since grade 10 to grade 12. Let alone you were the president of the RCL once upon a time. How was it for you to be a leader of such a massive crowd? Because I think everyone goes kolong ushebile wena awufika ushebile uri bathawe yashina. Do you have shared umthetho? What's happening?
Actually, it became challenging. You know, there are all those who bullies you through words and all that. So when I was announced that I was the president, plus I was so short and all that, you know, it was so embarrassing at some point. But by the end of the day, I made it. Like, people used to disagree with what I believed in. I believed in actually leading and also focusing on academics. I used to get suggestions from students saying we want a bash, we want this, but I wasn't actually going for it. I was actually looking for educational improvement in the school. So that was my one focus, being a leader of the school. So.
What kind of legacy do you think you have created for yourself through that position?
Even today when I walk in the street, I'm still called Mama Post. So I believe that actually I left a legacy because I made fun activities, but they didn't see it how I was actually planning it, because those fun activities included education inside. So
they were fun and educational at the same time. So then, just a fascinating thing for me is right to find women. We still live in a society where it's right to find women being in such positions. For you, how was it for you, and what kind of ticking points were you saying, which this is the kind of perception that I want to change about people who still think like this, or people who think because I'm a woman I cannot stick to my duties, I cannot fulfill my duties?
Yeah, that is one of the challenges that I actually faced, because in my board members, which was the president, deputy, secretary, like 4 of them were males. Starting from my deputy president to the treasurer were males, except the PRO. So the PRO was so like, she was in grade 10, I think. So all the time in the meeting, we actually had to, especially the secretary, he always used to actually oppress me. Whenever I put something on the table, he was always gonna make sure that he crashes, because the gender and all that, and he actually wanted to be the president. So there were always clashes between the two of us. So I had difficulties there, but through being heard and actually making sure that my voice is always heard and all that, I managed. Because like now we live in a society whereby women, whenever you're in that top position, they ask how did she make it, and they're gonna make sure that they tarnish you to a point that you actually even end up giving up on your position.
What would you say about people who actually go through that process of maybe sleeping with the boss or sleeping with whoever's on top to actually get that position? Because as much as we say it's not happening, it's actually happening. Our girl just has to do whatever that a girl has to do too. Let's just cut it off. Just tell me about most of your recent work. I'm more interested in that, because what you do into this community really deserves a crown.
My recent work. Now I'm the founder of the Palesa Foundation, which was actually started 6 days before my birthday this year. Actually, it was one of my goals to actually start my own organization before I reached the age of 19.
Okay, interesting.
So it started on the 6th of July this year. I started with my cousin, Palesa Mailula. But it was challenging because she didn't know much about these things, but she's actually willing to help me there and there. And also my grandma, she was always telling me, you have to do this, connect with people who are actually doing the same thing in the community so that you can be able to go forward. And then like I managed to do so because I was also in part of many organization. and even now I'm still part of main organization, even though there's no movement in them. But I believe one of the good days there will be a movement. So I am the founder. I run a modeling agency again, for in which now it started with 2 kids for the month of August. Not August. September. The month of September, I had 2 kids whom I was tutoring and training, but I never thought it was gonna be a big thing, because like I was just and then I sat down and thought about it, and then that's when I said, no man, let me go with this. This one is a great opportunity to actually show the world who I am, what I'm capable of, and it will not actually benefit me, but it will also benefit the other party. So that's when I went through with it. And
yeah, how many kids do you have now in total?
Now as we speak, I have 17 kids, and they're still counting, because others are still considering, they're still talking with their parents who are discouraging them not to go for modeling and all that.
Nice. So then I've got 2 funny questions for you. Yeah, you have to give me that expression yet. One is what's your take on relationships, more especially for young girls who are still at school trying to find their feet?
What's my take on relationships?
Especially focusing on young girls who are still at high school trying to find their feet. Is it wise for young girls at high school to start?
I used to love when my accounting teacher used to say to us, "Ngwanaka, I can go thola motho o ratang in high school, o tlo mo thola in university." And we used to laugh, thinking he's joking this one and all that. One thing that you should know is that social media is taking a big role in relationships, especially for teenagers these days. So everybody wants to be there, to be seen that I'm dating this guy, I'm dating this chick, this, that, and all that, forgetting the fact that there are emotions involved here. And they forget that there's still tomorrow. It doesn't. The life doesn't end today. So they do everything like as if there's no tomorrow. They think like as if there's no tomorrow. They think about things for now, not for the upcoming days. So hence that's why they even tend to make decisions that actually will ruin their tomorrow, because they didn't think about their tomorrow. So my take on high school, not to judge, but from my opinion, because I've been there also, I don't think it's wise to actually date while you're still in high school.
So who would you say within the space of modeling kind of inspires you?
In the space of modeling, I don't actually have the real person who's actually inspiring me. Because I am my own real person that is actually inspiring me. Because there were times where I actually wanted to give up on modeling because of the registration fees are high, the scams that are happening in pageantries and all that. But by the end of the day, I took my crown, I smiled and told myself, you got this.
I'm gonna ask you just 2 straight questions, and you're gonna just have to pick one person between the 2, and you're gonna have to give us the reason why this person choosing. Okay. I'm gonna start with Miss South Africa. There is 2 people I'm too familiar with. There is Zosibini Tunzi, who became Miss World, and there is Owachis-Kopo Chudufaz. Between the 2, who do you pick and why?
I'll go with Miss Chudufaz, because through her journey as the reigning queen of SA, she actually multiplied what Zosibini Tunzi actually did. Starting with academics, She went to school, graduated. That was the biggest motivation to the whole world. That despite being a model, there's still something that you can do. Don't just look from one plate. Don't eat from one plate. You can eat from any plate if you want to. And by doing so, she actually motivated young kids to actually to say, if you want to do modeling, you can still do your career.
But I feel like between the two, as are you able to say, Susie went to a world stage and won, but other people and the impact which they both left during their reign, it's arguable.
You know why it's arguable? Because of their appearance. Their appearance was one of the most, actually, one thing that I can say is that their appearance was natural. Something that we actually never thought anybody in the modeling industry would actually come in that appearance. So hence that's why we actually literally, even though I can ask a young kid who is Zozvini, she'll say that lady with a short cut, who is Shudufaz, that lady with no hair. So you see, that natural hair and that natural appearance that they made actually is the one that actually made a contribution to how people actually value them.
Okay, so where would you place Lalela Mswane, the current reign in South Africa?
Where will I?
Where would you place her? How would you rate her compared to the two previous reigning queens, which is Tudufasa?
One thing about Lalela that I like is that she focused on the youth. She stood for the youth, and she's actually working for the youth.
Which this one pageant that you would want to enter one day? That would just, like, if I can just enter this one, even if I don't win, but the fact that I've entered for it, sure, it means.
The pageant that I'm actually looking forward to now is Miss Tembisa.
Why Miss Tembisa?
They always say charity begins at home. So I believe that as I started with Miss Face of Winnie Mandela, made a legacy through that title. Now going for the city pageant, which is Miss Tembisa, will actually help me to actually accommodate the whole community of Tembisa, because like now I'm unable to go extra mile for other communities because I don't have a platform that side, I don't have resources that side. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. As we come to wrap up, how would you love to be remembered? Or what's there for you in the future? What can we expect from you? Because by that saying remembered, you're still young and there's still a lot that you could be remembered about, good or bad. So how would you predict your own future? What would you say is there for you in the next space of time?
Actually, I see a black woman who's actually gonna leave a legacy for the young kids. And one thing that I like is that I'm actually using this at the right time in my teen years, whereby I'm gonna be able to motivate somebody who's younger than me, who's gonna see, okay, it doesn't go with age, even I can also go for it. So I want to be remembered as sorry. Okay, I want to be remembered as a queen that didn't actually have maids to work for, but worked for everything that she wanted and made sure that it happened.
Yeah, nice. Where can people find you through your social medias?
I am on Instagram as Palesa Mailula. I am on Facebook as Palesa Mailula. I also got my own personal page, which is Sophisticated Palesa Mailula.
Yeah. And so far, how would you encourage people to come and support you through the work that you do throughout this community? Through your foundation, of course.
Through my foundation, we've got a Facebook page called the Palesas Foundation. You can inbox us and we will be able to communicate with you within the 24 hours. And what we're actually asking from the community as a whole is that any help of clothes, any help of any perishable goods, any money, we don't know. Anything that you are actually able and willing to donate, we'll really appreciate it.
Before I let you go, there's the cleaning of dumping sites around the cars around Tembisa. Take me through that project. How did it come about, and what exactly are you hoping to achieve through it?
This project of Don't Lose It Bennett started when I was the president of Zitikeni Secondary School. We named it Don't Lose It Bennett because we were picking, whereby we were picking plastics, all the rubbish from the schools each and every after school and put it in the rubbish bags.
Okay.
So that tomorrow morning we can find our school in a clean position. So this year we came up, I suggested it to my teammates and they said, let's go for it. And then we actually did strategies as to where we're gonna start. We were thinking of cleaning the streets, but we thought no, cleaning the street is actually a waste of time because in dumping sites, like it's a mess, and whenever there's a wind or a rain, it tends to actually take those dumping site rubbish to actually back to the street. So it will be a great thing to actually clean the dumping sites. So that's when we started with Lamatlama dumping site near Lamatlama Primary School and sports ground, and then now we are looking forward to do it, but at the moment we have actually put it into a pause because we are majority of my members are actually writing their examinations, so I don't want to cause a distraction because they are the leaders, so they have to lead by examples even in their academics. So now we are, and we can see that the political parties are also making their work to be voted. So we're just hoping that the new ward councillors and the new leaders which will be elected will actually make a contribution to helping us in continuing with this project.
Okay, wow, nice, great. So as a model, what's the drama behind the dressing rooms?
Okay, please repeat the question. What was the question?
What's the drama behind dressing rooms? As a model, I'm sure you have experienced.
The drama behind dressing rooms, whenever we are in pageants, it's so traumatizing. At some point, there are those models who look at you, oh, this like rating your body and all that. At some point you kinda feel like as if maybe there's something wrong in you, like they actually make you to actually lower your self-esteem while you came to the competition to actually boost your self-esteem, but it turns out that you're gonna actually have to lower it. So the story behind modeling rooms, for me, what I think I can say is that we have a lot of fun. Like that's where you meet your new family, your new friends, communicate, you know one another, because we don't actually know them, we just meet them at the final day and all that. Even though at some pageants they are always those nasty comments that they are busy with boys and all that, but one thing that I have seen in majority of the competition that I've been through is that they actually separate us, guys in their rooms, girls in their rooms.
So then I was interviewing someone one day, and she mentioned already the funniest thing is that you find that sometimes Palesa Mailula without the heels, has to borrow heels and blah 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 stuff. Is that like really happening? And how crazy is that for someone to come without like the
others even borrow dresses, panties.
Do you charge them?
And all day. So it's so traumatizing because at some point you don't know the disease that the person, especially when it comes to underwears, you don't know the disease that the person has. So you might find that you get infected. Yes, exactly.
Fuck. Okay.
And the later way rules was about backstage.
Okay. Here's my final thing as we wrap up, as we close out the show. I want you to close the show for me. Your way of closing the show.
bit that he says today may upload today for the same mission. Palesa Mailula is the representation of who I am, the introduction of Lane. I'm 19 years of age and I stay in Winnie Mandela at Tembisa. I would like, on behalf of the Palesas Foundation, I would like the community as a whole to actually assist us in making a difference in another person's life through our charity activities. We are actually looking for goods like clothes, food, cosmetics, in order for us to donate them to somebody who is actually lacking them. We got brothers and sisters in our community who are actually from lower income communities, and at some point it's very challenging to actually be with them and see them because that lowers their self-esteem. Another thing, from the Palesas modeling agency, I would like to welcome all the models who are actually looking for a mentor. I'm saying I am a girl and I am there to actually assist you whenever you need help. And also, coming from YLO, we are actually looking for donations of cosmetics and also food. Your support will be highly appreciated. Thank you, and all the best to each and everyone with their goals and their dreams and everything that they want to do in life. Don't do it for somebody else. Don't expect for more. Don't aim for more, but work hard for more, because by the end of the day, it's about you. Don't make it to be about other people. Thank you.
Okay.
And if you need to do the Talk with Obedience Mukawela, go to YouTube and search Talk with Obee, share and invite your friends, and also subscribe. Thank you.